Willie Jackson and Craig Yeast. They let it bounce. And it is down inside the 25-yard line. And there it'll be first down and 10 for the Bengals. Tonight on 60 Minutes, he's all of 13 years old and he's on trial for murder. He's also on 60 Minutes. And with 1/4 of the doctors in the U.S. now trained in foreign countries, it's more than likely that before the doctor can ask, where does it hurt, the patient will ask, where are you from? It's all tonight on 60 Minutes on CBS. Bruce Coslett resigned to whatever fate might befall him. A good football coach, mired in losing with his team at 1-7. Here's the long ball. There's Pickens out there. Carl Pickens makes the play. He's heading in. The play of the season for the Bengals. A 75-yard touchdown. And all of a sudden, the Bengals growl.
There's a little frustration vented there as Carl Pickens spikes that ball against the wall. That is what Jeff Blake and Carl Pickens have made famous in Cincinnati. Watch Carl Pickens, and this is what he's known for. He'll come out, he'll get the defensive back to go outside, and then when he bursts by the defensive back, he just can't catch him. He can't stay up with him. Carl Pickens can run faster with his head looking behind him than the defensive back can run with his head looking behind him.
That is for sure. Willie Williams was the victimized cornerback. Pickens with his 3rd touchdown catch of the year after his holdout. That's why he got the big money. And he is a dangerous man.
A moment ago, Willie Williams and Carl Pickens were in a scuffle, but in that time, Carl Pickens made the difference.
Carl Pickens on the...
It's well warranted.
At the Kingdome in Seattle. We talked about Mike Holmgren and watching his practice, Steve. It's particularly the Saturday practice yesterday, which is special teams and a lot of loose ends that are tied together. I mean, it runs like a Swiss watch.
They were crisp. I mean, that's the only word you can say. Mike Holmgren stood it way back away from the drills, and he would just say kickoff team. And I mean, 11 guys from absolutely all parts of the field would sprint to their spot and be there. You didn't even have to say it twice, and it was really something to watch.
Here's Kitna, letting it go long. He's going for the home run ball. It's incomplete. Well, shooting long at Sean Dawkins, a former Colt. Rico Clark was covering, called on to start. Rico Clark, who was waived by the Indianapolis Colts earlier.
This is a nice time to try and call this. Sean Dawkins is a big guy. That's a slant and go. And if John Kitna can put a little more air on this football, and that's why some people question the strength of Kitna's arm. Perhaps he can't throw that ball out there high and long like would be the perfect scenario for that pass. But John Kitna does go to the right guy a lot of the time, and that makes up for a lot of physical inadequacies.
He's now missed his last 3 throws. He makes a big connection there on 2nd and 10. He hits Derek Mays coming off the flank. Mays is taken down by Steve Foley, but he's taken down to the 46-yard line, a gain of 16.
And with Mike Holmgren here in Seattle, and you got John Kitna, everybody always wants to compare the Brett Favre and John Kitna. Well, John Kitna is not as physically gifted as Brett Favre, but he is as smart.
At the end of the first quarter with a score, the Seahawks 14, the Bengals 10. We'll return to Seattle after this message. And the Bengals have outgained the Seahawks 169 to 119 in total yards. 75 of those yards coming on the touchdown throw, Jeff Blake to Pickens. John Kitna, play fake, stands in. Here comes the rush. Lets a long ball go. Great coverage. Beautifully done. Corey Hall. And now as it kicked off, it might be. You'll have to see what the official rules. They are going to rule it was intercepted. Corey Hall, not only I thought he broke it up, but he came up with the ball before it hit the ground.
And
that's the defensive play of the year for the Bengals.
It really is, and they're going to give him the ball, Cincinnati's ball on their own 2-yard line. But you'll see here, Sean Dawkins goes right down the middle. Corey Hall plays this perfectly. He goes up one-handed and pulls it in, goes down, rolls over. That's where he's down, right there at the 2-yard line. What an outstanding play by a guy who wasn't even a Cincinnati Bengal. Corey Hall coming in.
He's a rookie out of Fresno State.
that is a huge play for a guy who's trying to help his team win. And that's what the Seahawks didn't want to happen. A good team who's playing a team that they know they should beat, you don't want to let them hang around. Now the Cincinnati Bengals feel like they've got some confidence and they feel like they're going to win this football game.
Well, they should have confidence. We told you they were going to battle for 4 quarters. We've never seen a Bengal team as pumped despite their record. But they have the long field to go here. Blake, he's going for the whole thing. Fires downfield. He had his tight end running wide open, Tony McGee, but he comes in low. So the Bengals gambling. They're letting him
25 yards today. He's a veteran, and he's going to give these guys a chance to win.
He was picked off early by a defensive lineman, and now they go to the run, trying to get out of jail. They have Corey Dillon just slam the ball at the Seahawk defense, and he's to about the 4, so it's going to bring up 3rd down and 8.
So many times a veteran quarterback, the only difference between a veteran and a younger guy is the fact that he knows where the secondary receivers are. And you see here, Jeff Blake goes back, handing off to Corey Dillon. A veteran quarterback uses everything. He uses the whole package to beat his opponent. He doesn't rely on just one thing.
He's got to rely on everything today. That big hit was by linebacker Darren Smith of the Hawks. Throw. Oh, he was just high at his fullback, Cliff Gross. A big rush, though, by Sam Adams, who, as we mentioned earlier, was being praised highly, absolutely extolled by Bruce Coslet as a great defensive lineman, 98.
This is one of the things the Seahawks have to do. They've got to pressure Jeff Blake.
Yes, he does. Bryce has to punt from his end zone. Hawks look like they're setting up a punt block. They got a lot of people coming. Here comes the rush. Boom, downfield. A charge put into that ball. And it's taken all the way back at the 35 by Jordan. Bengals come down looking to strip the ball and almost do. Seahawks will have it 1st down and 10 at their 43 after a 61 today. And I'll tell you, it is a terrific show. If you want to get caught up and know what's going to happen in that Sunday's NFL slate, watch it. It's the best pregame show on television. Nobody told me to say it. 6-yard run by Ricky Waters. Oliver Gibson runs the ball and runs down the ball carrier with a nose tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals, number 99.
The Bengals here coming in. That front 7 of the Cincinnati Bengals really made a change this year. Oliver Gibson stepping up to play has really helped them in their run defense.
Waters looks for blockers. A slashing runner, and Ricky Waters makes a great play. With his tackle-breaking power, his cutback speed, he beats the defenders for a 10-yard gain and a 1st down.
One of the things about the way the Cincinnati Bengals play defense, they run a 3-4 front. And what's the job is, it's the job of this guy right here to take 2 blockers. He's got to get 2 guys to block him, Oliver Gibson. When he doesn't, that means an extra blocker can go out and get up to Takeo Spikes and Brian Simmons and keep them from pursuing. You'll see here, 51 there, chasing Ricky Waters, just following him, shadowing him right down the line of scrimmage. And you'll see there as he gets there, finally gets to make the tackle. But that's what a defense is supposed to do.
Right now, John Kitna takes a look at what he's supposed to do, and he makes a perfect throw to Sean Dawkins, taking the young cornerback deep and then turning out on him for a 17-yard gain and a 1st down. Boy,
this Seahawks offense has really begun in the last 2 weeks to utilize everybody they've got. Sean Dawkins is a big receiver. He's one of those guys that the NFL is going to. They're big and they can play a physical game on the outside. There's a big swing in defense of the National Football League for small, quick cornerbacks that can cover guys tight.
Handoff. Waters runs again. Breaks 1 tackle. Here's a marker thrown in. We could have a holding call against the Seattle Seahawks with 12:05 to play in the 1st half. Rico Clark makes the tackle. Tony Correnti's the referee.
One of the things that happens in the National Football League is it
goes the other way.
Offenses do one thing, defenses do another, and if defenses do something, offenses retaliate. And you see there, number 21, Rico Clark is one of those 5'10", 190-pound
face mask. Defense 5-yard penalty. Play results. 1st down.
And the cornerbacks are trying to cover guys that are 6'4". You look at the Cincinnati wide receivers, Pickens and Scott. Those guys are way over 6 foot. But there's such a premium on guys that can play man-to-man defense. And really, generally, those guys are smaller because they have to stop, start, turn, and twist, and play such a fast game that the physical aspect becomes more of a premium for offenses.
There's no question how the league is going to bigger and bigger wide receivers. That was the 9th penalty of the first half on Cincinnati. Throw and bang. Mickey Waters in his wisdom alligator on that ball, because that can put you in University of Washington Hospital.
That's what happened.
From Colorado State. Put the hammer on, and now it's 2nd down and 10 for the Seahawks. Kitna changes the play. He's been schooled to be particularly careful in the red zone inside the opponent's 20. Not careful enough there, as a nice blitz is called. LeBeau calling the blitzes, and they came unchecked from the left side.
Yeah, he gets up. John Kitna gets up, looking at his receiver, giving him a hand signal, say, "Hey, man, what were you doing?" But the blitz comes right out. He saw the blitz coming, called the proper play. Somebody on the outside didn't get it, and you'll see here he gets up and looks over there and says, "Hey, you guys, what were you doing over there? I was looking for you."
Myron Bell was the first guy to get to him, the ex-Steeler, a safety. So the ball is set back to the 20-yard line. Third down and almost 20. Here's a throw to the end zone. Open man. What a beautiful play. Touchdown, Mike Pritchard. A 20-yard touchdown throw for John Kitna to Mike Pritchard.
That's why Mike Holmgren likes John Kitna. He's courageous. He just took a shot in the mouth. His helmet popped off, and he sends him back in the pocket again. He stands in against a tough rush and throws a pass like that. That's why John Kitna can play in the National Football League. You'll see here, he stands in the pocket, throws this ball right down the pipe, right down the seam. Mike Pritchard lays out. The Seattle Seahawks have got it together on offense.
High-scoring first half. They surely do. 2 touchdown passes for Kitna, a touchdown run for Waters, and a 21-10 lead for the Seahawks, who will put on the field. Jeff Blake loses the ball. Philip Daniels was coming from the right end position. Big Philip Daniels out of the University of Georgia made a power hit. Might be the, well, see when they unpile who's got it.
Looks like they're going to keep it. It's going to be 3rd down for the Bengals. And there's a couple of guys down. You'll see here Jeff Blake, just as he's ready to release the football, off the backside. Oh, Philip Daniels gets the big hit, and the ball bounces there. And everything happens in slow motion. The ball's bouncing, and 22 guys are trying to get there in time. Watch Philip Daniels. Bang!
I think Jeff Blake gets it back here, Steve.
Watch. He doesn't know where it is. It's bouncing, and nope. And it's right between Jeff Blake's legs, and he reaches around and grabs it.
There's a Seahawk down on the play. Looks Sam Adams, big number 98, being attended to, with 9:54 to play in the first half.
And that's one of the unfortunate things about the professional football is a team starts to get momentum, a team starts to play well, a team starts to do some positive things, and then all of a sudden you lose a key guy like Sam Adams, or you lose a John Kitna or a Ricky Waters. That's one of the things that a coach like Mike Holmgren can't control, and that's one of the frustrating things about it.
I talked to Paul Allen, the owner of the Seahawks, before the game. He said we've had talent here, but it's really starting to emerge. He just can't say enough about the job Holmgren and his staff have done. And this is good news for Seattle, even though he has to leave the game. It looks like big Sam Adams, whose dad played in the NFL, is not seriously hurt. We're at the midpoint of the NFL season. It's time to separate the contenders from the pretenders. Get a complete review of every team as they position to battle for the playoff spot. Just click on NFL at CBS.sportsline.com. There is Paul Allen, the owner and chairman of the Seahawks. Also owns the Portland Trailblazers of the NBA.
And Paul Allen has really done something here in Seattle that I think a lot of teams would like to emulate. He created an atmosphere over there where everything is pointed towards Sunday for the players. Everything is taken out of the way of the players. They point towards making it easy on the players on Sunday so they can forget about everything else and play. The players feel like everything has been done to put them in a position to win. And that is a very good feeling to hit the football field with.
He's also a very nice, approachable gentleman. Second wealthiest man in America, to his own genius in that of Bill Gates. Here's a long ball to Darnay Scott. And it's broken up at the 45-yard line by Sean Springs, who's a tremendous young cornerback out of Ohio State. Tremendous player. Returned a blocked field goal, 61 yards for a touchdown. You may recall Monday night at Green Bay.
They tried to go long again. You'll see here is Darnay Scott finding the ball. Sean Springs, he's a guy that can play the football in the air. We asked him yesterday, what are you going to do when Jeff Blake throws that high, long ball? He goes, I love that because it gives me a chance to get back to where I'm supposed to be. And on that play, he almost came down with the interception.
Bryce has to punt from the end zone. Big rush. He gets it away somehow. Partially tipped. And the Seahawks will take over the ball at the 30-yard line of the Bengals. That punt just 17 yards, but the Bengals were fortunate it was not blocked out of the end zone for a safety.
One of the things you hear is a partially blocked punt. Well, it's not partially blocked. Even if somebody hits it, if it goes past the line of scrimmage, it's just like a normal kick. Nothing changes. You see there, Kerry Joseph will come in out of the left of your screen, right across the face of the punter. I'm sorry, that's
Deems May.
That's Deems May, a big tight end coming right up the middle. The ball comes out, but it just counts as a short punt. It doesn't mean anything that he touched the football. And the Seahawks take over on the 30.
Take over on the 30 they do with a 21-10 lead. Kitna back to Waters. And Ricky Waters takes the ball to the 25-yard line. We're in the first half. And still over 8 minutes to play in it. Waters hit by Takeo Spikes at the 33-yard line. A loss of who coached him at Auburn. He wasn't only one of the greatest players in Auburn history, he was one of the best people. Takeo Spikes. Here's third down and long. Kitna takes a look. Throws and the ball is taken down. It is caught for a first down by tight end Christian Fourier. A spectacular reception of 13 yards on third and long.
On third and long, there's one thing that is in the Seahawks' favors. The Cincinnati Bengals are so depleted at defensive back that when the Seahawks put that many receivers out in the pattern, there are not enough guys out there who have the ability to cover man-to-man. A tight end out there on the linebacker, that's a matchup you have to win. Christian Fourier made a phenomenal catch on that, and that's a huge play for the Seahawks.
13 catches coming in. That was his 14th of the season. None for touchdowns yet. Kitna, timing throw. Derek Mays. That's beyond not good. That's at the bottom of the league. Waters. Good initial hit by Adrian Ross. And the gain of only about a yard or two on the play. Waters pounding the ball away, getting it all day long, Ricky Waters. 13 carries for 78 yards.
Watch here as Takeo Spikes, number 51, are here. And Simmons chasing them down. All these guys, the linebackers for the Cincinnati Bengals, if there's one word that describes them, is they're speedy. They cover sideline to sideline.
Young and fast, no question. Brian Milne is now in the game, the former Cincinnati Bengal who was waived earlier in the year. And the Seahawks have made him one of their co-captains for this game. Extra incentive for Milne. Spikes on the tackle.
It's close to the first down. I think they're going to have to measure for it. But you know, the fans here, the fans are always go for it on fourth down. And
as they say, Steve, if the coach listens to the people in the stands, it won't be long before he's sitting up there with them.
That's exactly right.
Holmgren, reportedly the highest paid coach in NFL history at $4 million a season. And I'll tell you, that was money well spent.
And we were speaking the other day, and one thing about when you get a coach like Mike Holmgren, you don't lose him for injuries. He's there every week. You can depend on him being there. It's not like a franchise player, or say like a Steve Young who got a concussion, or a Vinny Testaverde who blew his Achilles. Mike Holmgren is going to be there every week, and you're going to get your money's worth with this guy.
Yeah, coaches don't go on IR.
Yeah, especially when you give
Sometimes
him 6 jobs.
Sometimes they wish they could do it.
You give him 6 jobs too, and you can cut other people out of the payroll.
Yeah, secretary says some of the loudest conversations are Mike the coach talking to Mike the general manager. He's both. Here's the throw and broken up, incomplete in the end zone. Charles Jordan in the game, number 82, diving at the ball. Tremaine Mack called on to be a pass coverer because of the injuries.
It's becoming more obvious that when they get down close, the Seahawks want to throw the ball to the end zone. Getting with 3 touchdown passes already, or going for his third right there. That's their problem. And now they're going to force the Bengals to go to their dime package. They're going to put some extra people in there.
Well, Kozla told us he expected him to go to 4 wide receivers because we're so depleted in the secondary. Right now he has 2 wideouts to the right side. He pitches to Waters, and he gets drilled hard at about as fast was linebacker Canute Curtis out of West Virginia. A rising talented linebacker. He was an All-American for the Mountaineers. Here's a throw to the end zone. What a play. Derek Mays, who can catch the ball one-handed with ease, makes his 6th touchdown reception of the season. The former Notre Dame All-American, who was perhaps Holmgren's best acquisition. When Galloway held out, he traded with his former team, the Packers, to get Derek Mays for a 6th-round draft choice. And he's been Pro Bowl quality all season.
Derek Mays, the guy that when Mike Holmgren called him, Mike knew he could make catches like this. But Derek Mays and Mike Holmgren didn't have the best relationship in Green Bay. And Derek said, "Are you sure?" Mike said, "Yeah, come on out."
He didn't think he worked it enough. With great natural talent, he's working at it here. 3rd touchdown pass of the day for Kitna, and a 28-10 lead for the Seahawks. Now there's one of the few mistakes by the Seahawks as Peterson kicks the ball out of bounds. It'll give the Bengals good field position. Throw, catch on the run. Darnay Scott. Willie Jackson's on the run inside the 35-yard line. Willie Jackson takes it down to the 31-yard line, where he's run out of bounds by Darrell Williams after a gain on the play of 29 yards. So the Bengals take another big bite out of the defense.
When you can catch a team in man-to-man defense, if you can make a guy miss right there and he goes for the interception, you've got some running room. And there, Willie Jackson just makes a great move and gets the extra yards. And then it's always frustrating for a defense when you make all those guys miss and then step out of bounds and they can't even hit you.
Jackson has a history of being at his best after the catch. That was his 18th reception of the season. Throw downfield. It comes in too high for Carl Pickens as Blake overshoots him.
Cornerback in the National Football League. He's an elite cornerback, and that's a whole nother level of ability.
Yeah, there's no question. He's all-pro quality, Sean Springs, in just his 3rd year from Ohio State. Dillon making his own interference as he breaks it. A tremendous run by Corey Dillon. Hit, spins out, hit again, bounces outside, ends up with a 16-yard gain and a Bengal 1st down.
Corey Dillon is a guy you see there. He came in a little this year, and his weight is 6'1", 225. He dropped some weight from last year to try and get in better shape, to try and get a little bit quicker. And some people attributed his early injuries this year to he had some cramping problems, had some muscle pulls, attributed to the fact that he lost some weight. But on that play, I think it gave him the extra quickness he needed to take the leg away from those 2 tacklers.
Dillon running well. He's gained 68 yards on 9 carries. Blake stands in. He fires. He's got a guy. Marco Battaglia heading towards the end zone. And Battaglia is down close to the goal line, not quite in. A 12-yard gain. It'll be 1st and goal for the Bengals inside the 1-yard line of Seattle. You want offense? We've got offense.
This Cincinnati team has always been a good offensive team, especially with Jeff Blake in the game. He's a guy that has played, and in his words, I've played good football here for 6 years. And he's one of those guys that they've tried to replace time and time again, and they can't get it done.
Power set, extra tight ends. Dillon shut down. Big play coming up to get him was Matt LeBounty, defensive end from Oregon. Got to watch Tony McGee, the tight end, if he might slip through for a reception. Markers are thrown as Dillon runs wide. He's in trouble with another loss. And there was also a penalty marker down. The Bengals are pointing at Seattle.
Offense.
No, it's the Bengals again. If in doubt, it's the Bengals. Mike Holmgren says, we'll take that play. There's a loss on it.
prior to the foul, 2-minute warning.
Oh, that play did not count at all.
Wow.
That's one way to hit the 2-minute warning.
This is Don Criqui with Steve Tasker at the Kingdome in Seattle. Coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report, Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights. All coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report. The Bengals battling on against their own ineptitude from a penalty standpoint, but they make some big plays when they don't get penalties. Right now they have the ball, second down and goal inside the 4-yard line of the Seahawks. Throw, and no, is there a penalty? No, there is not. The receiver was down in the end zone, Carl Pickens, but it's ruled he tripped. So now you go to 3rd and goal. And
you think Jeff Blake here with Bruce Koslick calls the play. Jeff Blake is a guy who's played here in Cincinnati, gone to the Pro Bowl in Cincinnati, and yet with the acquisition of Akili Smith, the first-round draft pick, even though he's starting today, he doesn't really think he's going to be around for next year. He thinks he's going to be out on the free agent market. He doesn't think the Bengals are going to have him back.
Well, we'll talk more about that. I talked to Mike Brown about the future of the team and what his plans are. Jeff Blake has an open guy, and it's intercepted. He didn't put enough on it. A brilliant play by the linebacker, Darren Smith, the former Cowboy. 59, so a golden opportunity blows up in the face of Jeff Blake. The Seahawks' 24th takeaway of the year. You're looking at Corey Dillon. Ricky Waters slashes into the Bengal defense out to the 30-yard line. 11 yards and a first down.
When you come down, you get 1st and goal on the 1. Watch Jeff Blake as he throws this. Corey Dillon is so wide open when he lets the ball go. He just wants to make sure he gets it an easy catch, but he doesn't put enough on it. And there you see there the disgust. Mike Holmgren knows his defense has come up big time and time again. And Bruce Koslick, watch here. That's a guy that, God, what else can you do? That's the story of their season right there.
They're going to keep coming at him, though, down as they are. Here is a long ball thrown. A diving play on it by cornerback Rico Clark. The intended receiver was Sean Dawkins. Kitten had just got that away.
One of the things that happens when you get a big lead on a team, you can do one of two things. You can pull the sails in and just play conservatively, or if you're the Seattle Seahawks, you might want to open it up and give the teams down the road a chance to look at you on film and say, hey, we better prepare for this and this and this. Sean Dawkins there, you see, that's just incidental contact as the receiver and the defensive back get tangled up.
A blitz as the handoff again goes to the runner Waters, and that time the linebackers shoot through. Brian Simmons makes the stop. Loss on the play back to the 28-yard line.
You know, it's funny right now that the Bengals, the Seahawks defense has come up so big and gotten another turnover and gotten them out of trouble. Now the Seahawks offense come out, tried to go deep, and this crowd is absolutely quiet. They're absolutely exhausted. What a first quarter we've seen. There's been like 6 scores. You see here, Ricky Waters cutting up, and the defense comes up through the line of scrimmage. Brian Simmons making the tackle in the backfield. But this crowd, I think the crowd right now is a little bit tired of cheering. It's been a wild up and down affair here in the first quarter.
First half, yeah. In the first half, we've had 4 touchdowns by the Seahawks. As on 3rd down, they just take it into the middle, go to the run, and now the Bengals will call a timeout with 21 seconds left. Not much time to work with as Oliver Gibson, a nose tackle, stuffs the run. But the Bengals will get the ball back on a punt when we return.
Chip to go do that. I can't believe that.
Out of here like a top fuel dragster.
I cannot believe it. Going to do a golf tournament instead of a football game.
Our producer today is Jim Rickoff. Executive producers of CBS Sports, Sean McManus and Terry Ewert. Coming to you from the Kingdome, here is a throw. Thing of beauty. 3rd down. Amon Green. Marker comes late. Sets his team up now, and they go right back to Amon Green. 37-20 for Mike Holmgren. Now for Steve Tasker, this is Don Criqui saying so long from Seattle. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports.